So, have you heard about data engineering and especially Azure data engineering? So today in this video, I'm going to talk about the same topic. If you are interested to know about what it takes to be a data engineer, especially on the Azure cloud platform. So we'll discuss on that, and I will share my knowledge for you guys, so you can decide uh, what is there in data engineering field, and especially for to become a Azure data engineer, what does it takes? Okay, because I see every company has a different requirement, and the skills which is required to be a Azure data engineer can vary. Okay, but on in a bare minimum, what is data engineer, and what is what I can say what technologies you need to know. That is we'll talk about today, more on that. Okay, so let's start. So as the name suggests, Azure data engineering is like right now, as you all know, we are like the industry is using more and more cloud platform. So they are not using the on-premise platform, or they're still using, but they are now migrating, and the new projects are trying. They are trying to totally architect their solution within the cloud. It means they are going to use Azure services for let's suppose deploying the SQL server, and apart that lot of things are there. And for data warehousing also, you will use Azure services. So broadly, if I say what is Azure data engineering, it's more about, it is not just like a data uh, SQL, what I can say SQL professional. Like, okay, knows to who just know how to write SQL query. No, it is more than that. It is like, okay, SQL is like, okay, SQL is used for what? For writing queries. Okay, and so basically, if you know, there are two types of major data platform. One is known as your live or tra- transactional database. So this is like if you're using any software, any app, let's suppose you're using Gmail or any software you're using for that name. So whenever we interact with any information, we do any transaction in real time, it it is like a live database or a transactional database. Let's suppose you go on a food ordering system, you order something. Okay, that is live data. If you know anything like which you're doing in real time and you're getting the response. Okay, those are known as uh, live or transactional data. And traditionally in Azure platform, SQL Server is the most popular. We can say the database which, or the DBMS which like the company's industry wants to use. So SQL Server is the most popular. Apart from that, some projects can use Postgres also, or depends. Cosmos DB is also there, but most popular as of now as SQL Server. Okay, and this is more about this thing. Now this is one concept of warehouse. So what is warehousing? So warehouse is more like, okay, we have live data. Now we want to analyze that data. We want to find some reports out of that. Okay, for that thing, there's a concept of warehousing. So let's suppose we have lots of data in transactional database, and we want to run some complex query which will take 5 minutes, or maybe it will take half an hour. Now, those kind of queries we can't run directly in a live database environment. For that, we need to pull this data from here to some warehouse. For that, it is known as, let's suppose, Snowflake. Snowflake is one of the, let's suppose, warehouse available on your this thing, uh, on your. So this is a data warehouse, Snowflake. Okay. Now, how this from your live database SQL Server, you want to migrate the data to a Snowflake. Now, to do this thing, there's a process known as ETL. So in between the two, it ETL sits. So what is ETL? The ETL stands for extract, transform, load. Okay, this is like, I'll put give a color to just distinguish. Okay, so this ETL is more about so ETL is like we are taking the data from SQL Server, our live database, and we're putting that thing into Snowflake. But obviously, we will not need to uh, take all the data. We will require some data to be there. We will need to transform the data according to our needs. So that is known as nothing but extract, transform, and load into your warehouse. This is the ETL process. This is a common concept. So if you think about a data engineer, they have to know these processes. Like what processes I'm talking about, what is live database, what is a warehouse, what is the ETL process. Apart from that what they need to know how to do migration from, let's suppose there is some apart from this, what else you need to know? You need to know how to do migrations. So what do I mean by migration? Migration means, let's suppose your database is sitting on, let's suppose what I can say. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. But let's suppose your data is in uh, on-premise SQL and you want to move it to cloud. That is known as migration. Okay, so you're moving from, suppose, on-premise to cloud. So on-premise is like you have a, and you want to move to Azure or AWS, whatever. So these things also are expected from a data engineer. They should know how to do these things. Okay, so these are the basic things. But uh, apart from these things, what is the major? So I've written this question mark here that okay, you know need to know Azure, okay, cloud platform. You need to know SQL. SQL is the basic skill you know. But what else you need to know to become a data engineer? Now, if you know only SQL, then also you can become a data engineer by knowing some cloud services. We'll talk about that thing. What you need to know in Azure. I have not talked about that thing. I will talk in just some few minutes. Okay, but apart from the Azure, what else you need? Uh, do you need to know programming languages like Python or C Sharp or .NET? Do you need to know big data technology like Spark, PySpark? Okay, is that mandatory to be a Azure data engineer? So I will answer that thing. But before going this thing, let me put something. Okay, so basically for live or transactional database, you are going to use SQL Server. So we say in our technology, like terminology, this is nothing but Azure SQL. You're going to use Azure SQL. So company will say, okay, if you are a Azure data engineer, you must have experience using Azure SQL. So Azure SQL is nothing but we're using SQL commands, queries, and all those things, and managing our data on the Azure platform. Okay, so this is nothing but Azure. Azure provides SQL Server as a service. You can just search about what is Azure SQL. So this definitely company will need this thing. So this is a very, like, I will mark it in green to disconnect. Huh. So this you need from Azure. What else you need for ETL processes? There's a very like what I can say. Uh, Important service or tool which is available in Azure, that is known as Azure Data Factory. So Azure Data Factory is also very popular and most of the companies are looking for that skill. So I can say if even if you don't know any programming language, Python, C Sharp, .NET, even if you know Azure SQL properly, you know what is the ETL process, you have used that in the past, and if you have used Azure Data Factory, then also I can say you are you can be uh, said as a Azure data engineer because basically you're doing everything, managing data, transforming it, storing into your Snowflake. Maybe you might have to use some reporting tools. Okay, so in the reporting tools, you might use some advanced tools like Power BI. For example, let's suppose Power BI, because Power BI is a common tool which is used in Azure. Okay, so my point is, so even if you know these things, these are good enough to uh, as a Azure data engineer. Okay, we'll check our job portal also. Is this sufficient? But yeah, these are the bare minimum which you should know. Then you can say, okay, yes, I am a Azure data engineer because I'm working on the cloud platform on Azure, and I know how it works, how the migration works from on-premise to Azure SQL and all those things. What needs to be taken care of. Then you know about live database, you know about warehousing concept, you know about ETL process, and especially Azure Data Factory is one of the very important things. Then you need to know about different warehouse solutions. Snowflake is just one of that. We have other. If you just search about warehouse on Azure, there are other solutions also, other technologies also. So this is also very important. But if you know these things, and Power BI is not, it's not compulsory. If you know it is a good thing. Okay, so if you know all these things except Power BI, you are good to be said as a Azure data engineer. And a lot of companies are looking still, because see, many times it is not possible for everybody. Let's suppose somebody is having a 8 year or 10 year experience. After so much of experience, it is not possible for everyone to just go and learn a new language. Okay, it's not possible for everybody to okay go learn and tomorrow learn a Python language or C sharp in .NET. It's not possible for it. So it doesn't mean there are not opportunities are not there in the market. It's there. Okay, still there. Okay, I will not say majority. See, majority of the post for this thing will require you to have programming, and you need to know Python or C sharp and other things. You sometimes big data, Spark, PySpark, and all those things. But still, I will say 20% of the job will require just to know these things, and you are good for that thing. Many companies are hiring only based on whether you know Azure Data Factory or not. If you know Azure Data Factory or use that thing, that is good enough to give you a job. Okay, so let's check the job first. Then I will, without programming, we will check those jobs which require you to have eligible to for becoming the data engineer on Azure platform without programming, and then we will come to those jobs which require you to have Python and all those things. Okay, so yeah, so I've searched this thing Azure Data Engineer. If you see, this requires Python. ADF is nothing but Azure Data Factory. ADB is Azure Databricks, which is used along with you can say on big data platform, Scala. So this is a little bit more advanced. I will not go into this thing. We'll go into simple jobs where you require. Here also you can see PySpark. Now, whenever you see PySpark, this thing they're talking about the big data. Okay, so big data is a like if you this is as good as you're a big data engineer also in a way. Okay, so I'm not going to that. So if you see this thing, Azure Data Factory, if I open this job with data lake, so like Snowflake is one of the warehouse solution. We have data lake also as a warehouse solution. So you can see what they are asking: significant experience having skills in Python. So as you can see, now companies are asking this thing. Okay, but it depends. It will not be in every job you need to know. But primarily, what you need to know what is Azure Databricks and Databricks. Sorry, Azure Data Factory, Data Lake. Databricks is more aligned with the big data solution. So don't worry about that thing as of now. Here also you can see Python is coming. Okay, so Python is most popular for data engineering jobs. If I go here in TCS, here also you can see if I go here, you can see skill set data factory, stream and storage, SQL, data warehouse and DB. Okay, ETL tool, and you can see. So if you see this thing, good knowledge of SQL and SQL, excellent coding skills. So nowadays companies are asking for these things mostly. But still, I show you some of the job which is not asking for this thing. Let me show you something for you where you are not asking for this thing. Python everywhere we see Python and PHP, but mm, okay, Python I'm not able to find yet. Okay, let me search like this. So it is very important to search. So if I say okay, and I will just search ADF, that is Azure Data Factory. So you can see this will come. So what are the skills needed here? Need person who has hands on Azure Data Factory implementation, minimum 5 years. Okay, fine. This is one of the job which just require you to have ADF experience. Here also Azure Data Factory. Okay, so it is not written that you must know any programming. If you see this thing, I can't find that thing. So you can apply in these jobs even if you don't know any programming language. Okay, okay. Here also you can see C sharp knowledge will be a plus. It is not mandatory. Okay, because they know that not everybody will know C sharp knowledge, but if you know basics of C sharp or Python, it is a plus. Okay, if you, because you are coming from a data professional background, you may not know everything. Okay, so fine. So this is this, you should know more about SSIS also. I missed this point. SSIS, SSRS. If you're coming from a data professional background, SQL background, though many times you know about these things. What is SSRS? What is SSIS? That is an advantage. So with C sharp knowledge is a plus point. So you can see it's not required to be compulsory. Okay, as I say, but yeah, most of the jobs are now aligning themselves for, let's suppose I open this also, team list. Okay, so here also you can see SQL queries, SQL. I don't see programming is a must. Okay, so still, if you don't know programming, if you upgrade yourself, you know SQL queries, you work as a SQL engineer, and you want to know about more about Azure data factories and other solutions, what is warehousing using Snowflake or data lakes and all those things, you improve your skills. Definitely, you can get opportunities. But at the same time, if you know .NET or C Sharp or Python, or many times if people also asking for Java and all those things, then that is a plus point. But most popular, if you see what is the skills required, so you'll see is your Python only. If you see here also, if I open this job, Databricks, okay, no, it's not written properly. Okay, but technical architect. Like here you can see Azure Data Factory lead, develop and deploy ETL pipelines. Okay, so ADF uses to develop the ETL pipelines. Okay, and you can see the tools which required is uh, like sometimes you need to know about some different tools like SSIS or Informatica or Data Lake, other things as Data Factory. Then we also need to know about storage. Okay, because storing the flat file you will need storage. But if you see this thing, uh, expert in SQL queries, okay, but nowhere it is mentioned that you must know a programming language. That is not compulsory, but yeah, most of the jobs are still opting for that thing. If I go and search uh, system integration, so hands-on on Python and Python. Okay, this is one of the requirements, and you can open a lot of jobs where they are asking for Python on these things. So this is not compulsory. I can say if you know these things, Snowflake, data lake, and all those things, fine. Okay. Now this thing I can replace by C sharp. If you, especially if you're on Azure, the most common platform in Azure is C sharp, .NET, and we have Python. So basically, if you're targeting to, like, if you want to have a more opportunities, more premium opportunities, definitely learning a programming language and upgrading yourself to also write code along with SQL will definitely help you, and definitely it will be a plus for you. You will get better opportunities, better packages wise also, and opportunities wise you will get better. Okay, so you can see C sharp, Python. Python is more in demand than C sharp. Okay, what else? Then there are some jobs which you require to know, like I have mentioned here, Azure Databricks. So Azure Databricks is actually, I will say it is more aligned with big data. So if somebody say, well, what is Azure Databricks? It is more aligned with your big data. So if somebody is working on Spark, Spark is working big data platform. That time this will be useful for those people. Apart from Spark, if you know PySpark, that is a good thing. So basically, these are the. But if you know these things, if you know So this will make you a big data engineer, because basically a big data engineer can understand how does Spark work, how to use PySpark for big data queries, and Databricks is also used for the same purpose. Okay, so if you know this thing, then you are a data engineer, but you are also a big data engineer. Well, if you remove this thing, then and you just only know C Sharp Python, still you're a data engineer, but you will not, you we are not covering big data. So, but many times people think, okay, I have to learn everything. No, you don't have to learn. This is not compulsory. This is not required in each and every job. Even programming is not required in each and every job. I will, okay, so don't try to like learn everything. Try to do everything. Okay, first you learn these things, ETL process, what is data factory without using programming language. What is data warehousing? What is storage? I missed one point, storage. So storage is used for storage accounts on Azure storage. So what is used and how it is used for what I can say. So storage is used for your storing flat files and all those things. So you need to know how to use storage accounts and storage things on this thing. So this is also one important thing we need to know. So these are good enough to give you a job in as a Azure data engineer. But if you want to, so that is your first transition. But if you want to, even in the first transition only, you want to get more opportunities. Definitely, I will say either learn C Sharp and Python and use this C Sharp and Python in your ETL tools, in your data factories, or other processes in your pipelines and other things if possible. So that will make you a good data engineer. You will understand what is the use case of using programming and code in the data pipelines and ETL pipelines. Okay, that is a plus point. Okay, so this is good enough, and this is like optional. It's not compulsory. Okay, you have to know. If you know, that is good. That is a again an advantage. Okay, but not required in every job. Okay, so with this I will stop this video, but I will say don't try to do everything at once. Okay, just focus on this thing. Azure data factory is in demand. Just search this thing, Azure data factory, and then prepare yourself only for this thing. Okay, forget about this data bricks, only prepare for this thing. First try to get a job in this thing. Okay, if you're not got a job in this thing, just learn this thing by yourself. Whatever practicals you want to do, you do that thing. First make a transition into a data engineer as a Azure. Okay, even if you don't know C Sharp Python, that is fine, no issues. But first try step by step. Okay, and then if you got a job, or if you want to, if you have time, you want to know some programming, or you have some concept already, you have good concept in Python, C Sharp, definitely you can learn these things also and apply those things in data factory and try to get a job around this thing. So try to focus your skills not to this, because if you focus your skills to data engineer or Azure data engineer, a lot of things they will ask. Every job will be different. Have you seen this search on job portals? Okay, so focus on one thing, data factory, get a job, then you focus on, okay, why I need Python, why do I need C Sharp in data engineering, what is the use case, just study that, explore that, then you maybe make a transition in this thing. Later on, if you really want to know about big data, then I will say don't worry about, this is a good thing to have if you have already know this thing. Plus you can definitely know about Spark, PySpark, and you can know about Databricks, then it makes a sense. If you try to do everything at once, it is not of much use, and it will be difficult for you to answer the interview questions and make a transition. So what, like everything, I suggest everybody the same thing, that whatever you are doing, do step by step, and then you will be definitely successful. Okay, if you try to do everything at once, you don't get anything. Companies, again I'm telling the same thing again and again, company require expertise in one thing. Company don't say, okay, you're a fresher, you know everything. Like you can't be a fresher and say, okay, I know basic of Spark, I know basic of Databricks, I know basic of Azure Data Factory, but I have not done any projects, I have not done any real world hands-on. Then company, why? Because company will hire you. Companies want people who have done real world hands-on in the industry. Even if you've done some POC project, that will also work, but in that thing you have to deep dive. Okay, so I guess you will, you're getting the point what I'm trying to say. So with this, I'll end this video. Sorry, it took long, but yeah, thank you.